We are kicking off with Saturday night's main event as the first match saw Rhea Ripley put her Women's World Championship on the line against Nia Jax. Jax delivered a headbutt during the introductions to gain the early advantage, but Ripley fired back with a dropkick as soon as the bell rang. It was no surprise that this was a hard-hitting physical affair as both women are powerhouses, but the two also used moves fans don't see from them often. Ripley even used a code red at one point that only scored her a 2 count, while Jax hit a Uranagi slam and she came close to winning the gold a handful of times. The Samoan drop from the middle turnbuckle looked great, but no matter what Nia Jax did, Ripley found ways to kick out. Ripley took some bigger risks than usual, including a dangerous-looking flying crossbody block to the outside, and in the end, the champion retained with a riptide. This was a fun match that both women came across looking great in, but why did Rhea Ripley retain at Saturday night's main event? Fightful Select has reported that Rhea Ripley vs. Bianca Belair has been discussed for WrestleMania, and if so, WWE could have this be a title match between two talented women. If so, fans shouldn't expect to see Rhea Ripley lose the Women's World title between now and WrestleMania, which is why she stood tall over Nia Jax this week. Do you think having Ripley retain was the right call, and are you excited at the prospect of Rhea vs. Bianca at WrestleMania 41? Share your thoughts down below. For the Intercontinental Championship match, Jesse Ventura made his return, but the WWE had to censor the legend after he used a banned term. Ventura momentarily said WWF during the match, a term WWE can only use in archival footage and not anything new, leaving the promotion no choice but to bleep Ventura's comment. Braun Breaker put the title on the line against Sheamus in the second match of the night, with the Irishman once again seeking to win the one title that has eluded him. Breaker had the upper hand at first, but being thrown into the timekeeper's area in the most painful way possible turned the tide in Sheamus's favor. We returned from a break to see Sheamus on defense, taking a gutbuster, but the Celtic Warrior nailed Breaker with a huge knee to the face once. Later on, the way Sheamus threw Breaker over the barricade was nuts, but the champ refused to quit and hit a fantastic Frankensteiner on the challenger. Breaker lined up for a spear but ran into a bro kick instead, and though he was unable to kick out, managed to get his foot on the rope to break the count. On commentary, Ventura said the ref had botched the count and said that the ref had not seen Braun's leg in time and had looked up while pausing the count before he even saw the leg. After regaining his footing, Breaker hit the spear for the win, and this match proved to be as good as their previous encounters, with the veteran and the rising star continuing to deliver. Before this match, the pair had wrestled 4 times since June 2024, including in a triple threat at Survivor Series War Games with Ludwig Kaiser, and a shorter match for WWE Speed. On all 5 occasions, Breaker has gotten the win, and it remains to be seen if Sheamus will ever win the coveted Intercontinental Championship. The show saw Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens sign the contract for next weekend's ladder match at the Royal Rumble in a segment overseen by Shawn Michaels. Owens took a brutal dig at the champion by wearing a Cody Sucks Eggs shirt, a nod to the Dusty Sucks Eggs shirt Terry Funk wore while going up against Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes signed the contract before Owens grabbed the mic to badmouth Cody, saying he could have taken out Rhodes' injured knee in Berlin, but had valued their friendship. Rhodes told Owens to sign the contract so he can focus on who will face at WrestleMania, and when KO spoke again, Michaels said the challenger sounded jealous. Frustrated, Owens signed the contract and shoved it in Michaels' chest, but HBK's wish of good luck would be followed by Owens taking a cheap shot at Rhodes. KO attempted to pick Michaels up for the package pile driver, but Rhodes interfered and Michaels hit Owens with sweet chin music to end the segment. Both the WWE title and the real WWE title will be on the line at the Royal Rumble in a ladder match, and did you like Michaels getting physical with Owens? Let us know in the comments. The next match was Jacob Fatu vs. Braun Strowman, a match WWE hyped with a video package showing their respective stats. Strowman took early control and sent Fatu out of the ring, but the Samoan werewolf repaid the favor a moment later, followed by a suicide dive, which was a wild sight. This was a case of big meaty men slapping meat, as 2 of WWE's hardest-hitting powerhouses proved that their reputations are well-deserved in a match that went all over the ring. The way Fatu was sent over the commentary table looked nuts, and eventually Fatu snapped and threw the ref out of the ring so he could continue hitting running hip strikes. The ref called the match off, meaning we'll likely get a rematch, and while this finish was nobody's ideal outcome, the match leading up to that point was solid. Their next encounter will likely see the pair up the ante after Strowman was left a bloody mess thanks to Fatu's several moonsaults, all while officials tried to break up the fight. The finish allows for the feud between these two to continue, and it also showed that Fatu has a monster instinct and is more interested in hurting people than getting a traditional win. The finish also keeps some momentum for Strowman, as Fatu was unable to defeat the monster among men, and the records show that Braun won this match, albeit by DQ. Strowman isn't the top star WWE once saw him as, but he did get something out of this match, even if it's likely that Fatu will get the win when these two next do battle. In the main event, Gunther defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso, who tried to test himself by going chop for chop with the ring general. Jey came close to winning this exchange until Gunther whipped him into the corner as hard as possible, and as the show cut to a break, the Austrian was in control. Jey made a comeback when we returned, though he still showed signs of the beating he'd taken and did a great job selling just how brutal the champion is. The crowd was electric as it looked like Jey would get the win, but not even 2 spears and a Superfly splash could put the champion away. Gunther countered the 3rd spear into a pair of powerbombs to get the win and retain the gold in an entertaining match, even if it did have a predictable result. Despite this, the crowd was led to believe that Jey could pull off a major upset as both men delivered in this contest, but what's next for main event Jey? Uso has declared for the Royal Rumble and hopes to earn another title match, but with a stacked list of entrants including CM Punk and John Cena, that'll be easier said than done. And that was Saturday night's main event, and while this didn't feel quite as big of a deal as the last show due to being overshadowed by the Royal Rumble, it was great from top to bottom. All 4 matches delivered, as did the contract signing, and the show was bookended by 2 brutal, hard-fought matches between Ripley and Jax and Jey Uso and Gunther. The show stealer, though, was Sheamus vs. Braun Breaker, as they didn't hold anything back and delivered the best performance of the night. The show also reminded us that 2 hours seems to be the magic number for a wrestling show, as the pace felt good, allowing for fans to stay invested in the action, which never outstayed its welcome. During this week's AEW Dynamite, Mercedes Moné strutted backstage with her 4 championship titles and was ready for an interview with Renee Paquette. That was until Harley Cameron crashed the scene with a guitar in hand to sing an over-the-top song that focused heavily on her own breasts and tried to talk her way into Moné's good books. Moné quickly shut her down, saying that Harley hasn't won a single match and isn't remotely worthy of a championship match against the CEO. Despite Moné's rejection, Fightful Select reports that the plan is indeed for Cameron to face Moné and Harley's native Australia at next month's Grand Slam event. Cameron's comedic antics have won her over with fans, and she'll certainly get an ovation in her home country when she faces one of the very top women on AEW's roster next month. Over to AEW Collision, and Toni Storm revealed that she'd been playing the role of her life this week when she had a face-to-face with Mariah May. Storm played up her rookie persona and appeared wide-eyed and naive, but the second May attacked her with the women's world title, the former champ dropped the act. After taking the beatdown, Storm declared that, "I've never forgotten anything," and added that, "I am timeless Toni Storm again," and May's look showed that she knew she'd unleashed a huge problem. Storm had played her rookie character since her return at Dynamite Winter is Coming, but with her timeless persona back, momentum is with the challenger ahead of Grand Slam Australia. And we're ending today with Samoa Joe, whose first match back was supposed to be on Dynamite until weather-related travel woes prevented that. On Collision, Joe and Nick Wayne had the first match of the night with Hook at ringside, and after about 10 minutes, Joe got the win with a muscle buster. Joe had been taken out by the patriarchy in July so he could film Twisted Metal's 2nd season, but now he's back and winning once again in AEW.